Hey guys, what's up? So everything that could have happened for my big day, if you're still alive and you're breathing, even if you don't really celebrate it, well, I celebrate it, but as you get older, we don't do the whole month celebration of birthdays. But today's my birthday officially. I told you guys yesterday. Thank you for everyone who has sent me out a happy birthday wish. If you would love to send me anything so I can get a bottle, perhaps after this live before 11 o'clock, my Cash App is down. Only thing right now is working is PayPal. It still is SL Davis, whatever, at gmail.com. You ain't got to send me much, boo boo. $2, per head, something. Maybe I can get me a little nice size Patron bottle. So you keep that in the back of your mind. But yeah, it is in the banner there. If you would like to, no one is pressuring you. This is not Queen Opp's channel. We don't beg the whole live because we have content here. But I'm gonna put up I want to put up something here before we get started. Here we go, right here. There we go. That looks better. But anyways, with that all being said, it was quite a busy day for me today. But I had to get this live up because I've been pushing it off for I don't even want to think about it. But I wanted to say first and foremost, I'm not going to get focused on who this man is, whether he's national security or he's the popo. All I know is that the man spoke up about the situation. He's still in law. Somehow he seems to be very knowledgeable about what's going on. Right after I had discovered his channel, something was said to me, and I'm gonna do my due diligence on it. But from what I'm hearing, Danny is basically was asking her court appointed lawyer allegedly that she needed more time because she wanted to get her things in order. Like some people, she doesn't have her own place. I know that Danny does not have her own place. But some people like to, they have their own apartments. Maybe they got some kids in and on the set, which Danny doesn't. She doesn't live on her own, but there might be things that she wants to take care of, before that happens, that big day. She was trying to get allegedly everything pushed back until she gets everything in order to be able to accept the sentence. I don't know if she knows already what the sentence is looking like. um but when this was told to me, Queen Opp's name was not in the equation. Not surprised, because as we know, Queen Opp from the beginning had a paid lawyer. She had us thinking quite a few times that they both had paid lawyers, but come to find out, as things have proceeded, the only one that had to pay lawyer was Queen Opp, in fact. And Queen Opp is going to ultimately be the only one who will get a slap on the wrist. This is what I predict. And again, I'm doing my due diligence. I will definitely be back with the final finale of what is going to happen to Danny and to Queen Opp. But I know that it's serious because Queen Opp has not been on the set talking her BS or begging or even doing her little storylines and subliminals on her IG stories for quite some time. I think she's a lot more fish to fry, bigger fish to fry, than to be trolling people, like us. Let me read this. Thank you so much, CT. Thank you guys for all the happy birthdays. It says, "Hey, my YouTube sister, how you doing, Michelle Lewis? Thank you for the happy birthday. Hey, Fuzzy Snap Dragon. Hey, thank you for the happy birthday." But again, I think that there's more to what meets the eye. People that are social media influencers, they don't have to tell you exactly what's going on in their personal life. And when you think that they are, which we know that Queen Opp and Danny are not very truthful, they like to do story, lines and they like to plant seeds so that they can get the audience's attention to get the bag. You feel what I'm saying? So they never ever were known to be honest and upfront, commentators that are on social media that we know from social media that were on the up and up. So you're never going to know what is going to really happen to the both of them until it's all said and done. Thank you guys. Thank you. Don't think I'm ignoring anybody. If I see people come in after the thank yous with a happy birthday, I'm very appreciative that you guys are saying happy birthday to me. And I do acknowledge all of y'all's happy birthdays. And I want to just say again, thank you. But it's just not looking good. And I will say that if in fact it is true that Michelle pretty much smoked Danny, she did come forth. She didn't say, from my understanding, we not surprised too much about Queen Opp. But because Queen Opp was, getting far along in her pregnancy, she probably was used to hands being put on her more aggressively from Queen Opp, and she probably was not able to do that, um, you know, because she was so far along. She didn't want to put herself in a situation where she could be, harming herself or child because she was so far along. She let Danny put hands um, on Michelle, and that's kind of messed up. Now, I did do part one the other day. We can listen to that as well today because a lot of you may not have, if you missed the premiere, part one premiere. Now, part two is going up now, and I got to make sure that I put in the title that that's part two so no one gets all confused. Um, but I want you to listen to Smoking on Queen Opp. She's back illin on Queen Opp. Like I said, we all don't have to talk about everything that we know. But when she came back on the scene and did that Smoking on Queen Opp video not so long ago, that was the last one that I have done commentary to. I'm on part three of me making it into a 3 hour live premiere because it was a lot of information that she shared and how she felt. But she sounds very angry like she did Michelle's cousin, like she did at the beginning. And I think, and I could be wrong, it's because time's going by, people are agitated. We want to see Michelle get the justice that she rightfully deserves. And we don't want to see these people get a slap on the wrist. We don't want people trying to um, let us fall for the banana in the tailpipe and making us think that, you know, these people are going to suffer and pay for what they did to Michelle, and they don't. Because there are people who troll and they don't want to see anything happen to Danny and Queen Opp because that was a show to them. People cut their cable off in some in some respect, people will cut off their cable and look at free television and watch that as entertainment, watching Queen Opp and Danny do what happened to Michelle. And Queen Opp was doing it way before Danny got into the picture. So you got to understand, Danny's about to catch the short end of the stick because she wanted Queen Opp. Didn't know she was going to get used um, for Queen Opp's gain. Not realizing you didn't put yourself in a cycle of 15 years of what Michelle had to endure. And within a couple of months, you're now looking, if not worse than Queen Op, because you didn't put yourself in a situation that you shouldn't even have got yourself in the first place. So I don't feel bad for Danny, but I'm telling you right now, they're not laying low because they're like, we need them, they don't need us. No, they are scared. They can get up here and huff and puff and act like they're blowing houses down, but hunty, they're scared, and they should be scared. because I really feel I'm getting this gut feeling as time each month go by and I see how distant Queen Opp and Danny are. I really think that there's more to what is being told or sold when they do go and get on social media and talk with the audience. I think that they're putting on a facade like everything's okay, everything's gonna go away. A lot of people are not really giving Michelle all the credit that she rightfully deserves. Because I think that you would be surprised to know that Michelle, she may not have threw Queen Opp completely under the bus, but I'm quite sure that girl was tired of being tired. She definitely, if given a chance, what she did, nobody's there to hurt her. I'm quite sure she definitely, just to get her payback to Danny, because Michelle could not stand Danny. She definitely told the right people what Danny did to her. And you know, she's still gonna get justice in that aspect, Michelle will, but I feel like it's not gonna be full justice if she doesn't equally throw the book or get the book thrown at both of them, because you endured more from Queen Opp than you did Danny. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be saving Queen Opp's back and freedom because she allowed Danny to step in, who's a stranger to both of you, and harm you as well. So, we're gonna see how this plays out. But from my understanding, she definitely went in on what Danny's role was, Michelle did, and what she did to her that short span of time that Danny was in the picture while Michelle was living there. From my understanding, Michelle spoke her piece about that, and it's not looking good for Danny. But like I said, only time can tell. It might not right now look good for Danny. And then it could be a deal set on the table. A whole ton of it, probation, and community service. And they'll do that before they serve some time. And from my understanding as well, from what the police officer was saying, I'm going to call him a police officer for now. I'm not going to run with the national security story that some people are saying, not everybody. She was supposed to be doing anger management classes, and she hadn't started them yet, which I can understand how she hasn't started them yet, because half the time they're probably strapped for cash, especially if they're not getting on here begging for cash apps every single day. Danny doesn't have money to be able to afford cigarettes, yickety, and Tilleport wine. It's got to be one or the other, and you have to pay, I think, a weekly uh payment in order to go to that class. Those classes in all those states for batterers and all those kind of programs, they make you pay to go to these classes. So she was supposed to be going anger management. I don't know what happened with that. The guy didn't really elaborate too much on it. I have not been to his channel in some time, but I definitely will be there real soon and bring back some more information on that. But I promise you guys, I'm going to do my due diligence on um Danny about to do some time. Um and I really think that there's some truth to it, because when it was told to me, not mentioning any names, not that you would know the people anyways, but when it was told to me, they didn't mention at all Queen Op. They just said Danny. Danny was trying to get her lawyer to get it pushed back to buy her some more time if, in fact, they were going to give her a sentence for what she did to Michelle. She could, get her, her personal stuff together before they, sit her down. And a lot of people do that. They'll ask for extra time. And usually the courts will give it to you, if that is, in fact, what the truth is. Usually they'll say, okay, we'll give you X amount of time, and what Danny would do if that is the case. When she gets sentenced, she would know when she would have to turn herself in. She'd have to come to the courthouse on that day, and then they'll take her into custody. But I was kind of disappointed when I heard what I heard, because I felt like, well, why aren't you telling me about Queen Opp? How does Queen Opp not be in this conversation? How do you hear that Danny is trying to push back the time, the court dates and all that other stuff, to buy herself time, but you're not really hearing about Queen Opp and her looking at time and her having to turn herself in after she, gets maybe, little summers situated, stuff that she has to put back into in storage, all that stuff. Why aren't we hearing that about Queen Opp? But why are we not surprised? Queen Opp is the type of person, she will use you as a mule to do her dirty work. And then she's nowhere to be found when you get, jammed up. So that's why I think that there's been attempts, but see, Danny's heart's different than, Queen Opp. She's no better, but it's different than Queen Opp. So that's why she might feel that way for the moment, an attempt to do some slime ball stuff to Queen Opp, then she gets cold feet because she thinks that she's in love with this demon, which is Queen Opp. Queen Opp's a demon. Queen Opp doesn't love herself alone, Danny. She's always getting someone with low self-esteem, someone that you could tell they really don't love their self, to do the dirty work. And she has always had her hands clean as long as we have known Queen Opp on social media, but everyone else takes the weight for everything. They both need to do time, not just Danny. That's true. That's what I'm saying. That's messed up. And but see, that's usually how it happens. You sit there and do something for someone you think that you love, that you think that you're riding for, and they're riding for you. But little do you know is that you're riding for them, but they're not riding for you at all. And when something hits a fan, they'll have your back, all right, way back. I wish I was close. I will show up at the court. uh, hey, no nonsense. Helmet Davis Martin chat pray as that's right. Thank you, sweetie. Happy birthday to me. Yeah, but when I heard that, I kind of got like butterflies in my stomach, because a part of me said, if Queen Ops name wasn't in that equation, um, she might be the one that's gonna get the slap on the wrist. We don't know what Queen Op is saying to her court appointed, I mean her paid lawyer. We don't know. But I don't think that she's that in love with Danny that she would sit there and ride or die. I doubt that very much that she would do that. I mean, she should man up, woman up, whatever she wants to call herself, and she should take the weight. She should say, I'm the one that needs healing. But sometimes people ain't built like that. And I don't feel as though Queen Op is built like that. So I really don't honestly see Queen Op trying to look out for Danny and spare her own life. That's not gonna happen. Danny should have knew that before she even involved herself. So I don't feel bad for Danny at all. I feel bad that she was so stupid to allow herself to get in this situation. Now I know that Danny was also putting her hands on Michelle because of the history that Queen Op and Michelle had that she didn't have. And who knows? Maybe Queen Op came clean on that pillow talk. When you with your significant other and y'all have that little pillow talk and y'all talk about things that only you and that person know, and it's supposed to stay between you and that person. Who knows? Queen Op could have came clean and said, "Yeah, it is true. It's not a rumor that there was one point in time I did do things. Let's say some adult things with Michelle, but." Easy come, easy goes. And, she became unattracted to me. You know, I didn't like what I saw anymore. And she seemed to be slow anyway, so I just started treating her the way I started treating her, because we all know that there were things that went down behind the scenes with Michelle and Queen Opp that made Michelle think that I love Queen Opp. She might not love me the same way, but I'm gonna ride this out and see where it takes me. But see, you have to understand that Michelle has deep seated issues from way before meeting Queen Opp, and her judgment is not like yours or mine, where we'd say, you know what, if this ain't working out, if it's been 15 years and I'm going through the same type of treatment to this extent, I think I need to go. That's not the thought process of how somebody like Michelle thinks. And that's what also got Michelle in trouble, was that her thought process wasn't like that. And she just endured mental and physical, you know what I'm saying? Abuse. And it's really sad. Make sure as y'all come in, y'all hit that like button. And I'm so glad a lot of people are getting on this, doing commentary, and speaking their thoughts on it. There's some people who know them personally, whether it's Queen Opp or Michelle or the family, you know what I'm saying, and they're speaking out, like Michelle's cousin. Her name is Tiffany. But history will repeat itself if we sit around and act like this is not our problem. It is our problem, because you know what? There's not just one Queen Opp in the world who's capable of doing what Queen Opp did. There's many of Queen Opps in the world. A lot of people keep saying maybe they should take her off of social media. Yeah, that's one way to stop her from doing what happened. But there'll always be another Queen Opp that's gonna come along and take her place. That's why we have to educate ourselves with these things. We can't look at everything as a game or it's not my life. That's not my problem. Because that's why it got so out of control. And I'm telling you, the day that them police came in and did that wellness check for the second time, guess what? I could honestly see on Michelle's face that day, she was calling out for help. She just didn't know how to do it. So what happened? She sat there in the camera. Queen Op knew that she was trying to say in her expressions that she was making on camera, I need help. That's why Queen Op was kind of leery about her on her knees that day in the camera with her face looking like that. She could tell, I could feel that Queen Op knew today is the day that I think Michelle's kind of tired of what she's been going through. And now she's really getting it, because now you didn't let some stranger come into play and handle me because you're pregnant and you can't do all these awful things to me because you're pregnant. And for Queen Op to take it to that level, that goes to show that Queen Op's not happy with Queen Op, let alone doing what she was doing because she could do it. Nobody just does something to someone because they can do it. People do awful things to other people because they're not happy with oneself. I don't care what anyone says. If you are happy and content with your life, nobody wakes up in the morning and treats a person like that. It just doesn't happen. Not a person who's loving themselves, loving their life, and living life is going to treat another human being like Queen Op allowed herself to treat Michelle and thought it was okay. And Michelle, if she loved herself, she wouldn't allow it either. But Queen Op knew she didn't love herself, so she took advantage of it. And now she's sitting back quiet because she's scared. And she should be. Because what you did to that girl was horrifying. And it's really sad that it had to come to the point of her getting on YouTube, because that was the fastest I've ever seen a response to any of the horrific things that were done to um Michelle all these years that we all been watching her. She got on the wrong platform. I'm gonna tell you that much. And they did a mass calling to the police station and said pretty much, please come to so and so address, such address, and get this woman. This is a wellness check. And they came back a second time. I'm quite sure the police was looking at the video. So she incriminated herself by doing what she did by having Michelle still on that video even after the police left. Why wasn't Queen smart enough to know Queen Opp? They were coming back. Who in the right mind thinks that the cops are going to leave and they're going to just ignore what you were doing to Michelle? Just because Michelle said she was okay, you think that they were really going to ignore that? No. That's a liability. They would have left and something would have happened to Michelle, that would have been a liability. Opp is all, it says Opp is all for herself. Yep, Danny needs to wake up. Yep. It says, I think all those people that paid for Shelly is, yep, they should be too. And that's funny you said that because a lot of people are saying that. But you know what's so sad? Mika, there's so many of them. There's so many of them, baby girl. There's so many of them who paid those cash apps for the awful things that Danny and Queen Opp was doing, and even when Danny wasn't in the picture, before Danny came in the picture, that Queen Opp was doing. There's no way they could track these people down to hold them accountable. Queen Opp knows that, and then these sick individuals who follow her as her supporters know that as well. I finally made it to one of your lives. Yes, just calling me Giggles 2021. Welcome, sweetie. And that's really scared. Says a lot of gifters thought it was a skit. No, I don't think. And that's what and this is my opinion. We can agree to disagree. But honestly, I'm gonna tell you, and I hate to say this, but I don't think people thought it was a skit at all. At first, maybe the first couple of weeks when they were on Big O, I'll say maybe it was skits then. But after a month or two, the bags were getting right, using, Michelle as a mule, so that they could get the bag. They started not looking like skits to me. They started to look like stuff that could be even happening behind closed doors. And that's the reason why they got on these type of sites, because these sites are for storylines. You don't have to be on there telling the truth. You can make people believe that it's the truth, and you get paid thousands of dollars for it every month. I think these were things that they were doing in their real life, And they said, hey, why don't we just get paid for it? We're sitting right here bored all day looking at each other. We're really doing this. And they brought it to the big screen. And now Queen Opp is in trouble. How much trouble? I don't know. But she's in trouble. And she knows it. That's why you don't hear her. Thank you, Germany Rose. Thank you, sweetie. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's try to get them up to 100 likes. That's why you haven't heard from Queen Opp. Put a Y in the chat if you think we haven't heard from Queen Opp on a regular basis because she's scared and she's trying to lay low. Put a Y in the chat if you agree with that. It's just so crazy how people normalize bullying and think that is cool. Right, exactly. And there's nothing cool about it at all. And to me, that's not a skit. I'm sorry. No, they knew it wasn't a skit. They pointed stuff on side. Yep, they knew it wasn't. See, people that say they knew it was a skit or thought it was a skit, that's a lie. Because, see, it's only a skit because it ain't your son or daughter or your mother, your father. Even when I do believe the first maybe couple of weeks it was a skit, I still didn't believe it was a skit. Even those first couple of weeks, because I really believe them two were doing foolishness behind closed doors that you can only imagine. So don't believe the hype. I believe that that platform was just a platform that they could relate to. And they're saying, because I'm quite sure there's a lot of people that go to Big O and Michael's, and they say, hey, I can get paid for this. I'm doing this from home for free. I can get paid for this. And I'm gonna up it a notch. And that's what Queen Opp did. She took it too far. You know what I'm saying? It's really sad. Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying why. I know that's right. It says these are the same people using elderly in the. Yep, that's funny you said that. I've seen, let me tell you something. I see all the time, like on Facebook, even on the news, they camera, you know, workers, and they're like slamming these, elders in the chair and not feeding them, and like hemming them up and slapping them up. And I'm saying we're all gonna get old one day. We might not have the luxury of having someone stay home, a family member or one of your kids to take care of you. You might have to go into a nursing home, and you see people doing that, but because it's not their mother, father, grandmother, great grandmother, people don't care. And that's why people get away with the stuff that they get away with, like Queen Up, because people don't care. It's entertainment. Drama sells. And a lot of people thought that was funny, not knowing that it was nothing about it funny. Queen Op was doing this to a person who had issues. It was ignored at an early age. Parents never got Michelle any help. Queen Op saw an opportunity 15 years ago, to be able to take advantage of somebody who um, can't defend themselves. That's how she always meets them. And that's just what Queen Op did. She's been doing that for years. Queen Op can't sit in a circle with real women and talk real talk. She can't relate to that. She has to get people like Danny and Michelle, because there ain't no real woman gonna sit in a group with her. She's ratchet. She's trifling. She's a demon. Um, she most definitely scared. Yep. I'm trying to tell you, it's sad. It's America's guilt pleasure. Yep, guilty pleasure, Chris. Yep, Krishan and Blue. And let me tell you something. Those are two other people too. They're always in the media. They're always on social media. There's always every day of the week something that has to do with drama. And it's not happening because it's just happening. It's happening because it's been planted there. These people wake up and they know before they get up what they're going to do the next day. And that is create drama on top of drama. But see, it's funny until somebody gets hurt. Because that's what's going to eventually happen with Krishan and Blueface. Somebody's going to either go to jail or get hurt or be 6 feet under. It's a joke now, but it's a joke until it gets real, and it's sad. She refused to work because she has enemies. Oh, really? Well, you know what? That's one of the most lazy excuses I've ever heard of why a person doesn't work. Because Hunty with all the enemies that Queen Opp has and Danny, they don't know where she lives. She's doing work on social media from a cell phone or a camera. Why are you scared to get money to take care of your family, especially you having a newborn, little Summers? That's a cop out. Yeah, you have enemies, but you made those enemies, Queen Opp and Danny. But to me, that's a cop out. Michelle didn't get a chance to make excuses up for why she did or didn't want to do something. So why do you have the entitlement to do that? You supposed to be this big dog. So that don't make no sense to me. She refuses to work because she has a league of that will pay her to do. Yep, exactly. Mhm. You could tell how she acts now when she does go live. Yeah, it's just different. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. You would be acting like her too, not going every single day live, acting like you the number one stunner. You would fall back, kind of act like maybe if I'm quiet for a little while, people will forget about me and I'll have to rebrand myself. That's what I think she's trying to do. She's just not woman enough to say, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fall back. Hope you guys forget about me and let me rebrand myself. It says it's called keeping oneself relevant. Hmm. Yeah, she made those enemies. She made those enemies. Why run now? Michelle couldn't run when you was doing what you was doing to her. So why should you have that opportunity? Why are you entitled to take a break or to fall back because you got enemies? You, Queen Opp, and Danny were the enemies of Michelle. She couldn't fall back. She had to just take the punches. She had to roll with them. And I feel like that's what Queen Opp should be doing, rolling with the punches. She's too entitled. These supporters got her too entitled. I really feel like somebody needs to break her. And I really feel like I don't care what nobody says. People you want to Michelle's cousin trying to sell T-shirts and this and that. Whatever Michelle's cousin is trying to do, I would still put my money on Michelle's cousin Tiffany that she would break a foot up somewhere. And you know what I'm talking about. We all grown here. Just to make Queen Up understand what you did was not cool. And if you think you're going to do it going forward, I'm going to try my hardest to remind you where you can go for doing stuff like that to people. Because I don't care if it's your family or not. Nobody that you might not be, none of your loved ones. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And she has too many supporters that supported that movement. And that's sad. And that's because they have low self esteem. They probably have them supporters wish that it was them getting that done too. That's how people's minds are sick. But that was very uncalled for. And I really feel like if Danny is the only one that's going to get the worst of the sentence, I'd be very disappointed because I feel like Michelle didn't get no justice. I feel they equally were responsible for the actions of what they did to Michelle, and they equally should be serving whatever time that they get. Hit them with the book because we're talking about someone who probably has to go through years of counseling. If not, if she might not be right now going to, she might not feel as though she needs it, but she does. My heart goes out to her and everything. But I'm hoping when I say this is somebody that needs years of counseling, I'm hoping that if her family is trying to help her get into counseling, Michelle, and identify what just happened to her and how to not have, a pattern of behavior where she's going through a cycle of going right back to Queen Opp after everything smooths over, like she did the time when she was in Atlanta. She stayed out there for 30 days with Queen Opp at Queen Opp's sister spot. And from my understanding, what's the sister's name? Kirby. Michelle's sister's name is Kirby. She was saying that Michelle's sister was the one that called the police. But why do you think Michelle's sister called the police? Had nothing to do with having no love for Michelle. Had to do with this is happening in my house, and if they come in here to get you, they're gonna be looking at whose apartment this is or whose home, who owns this, and how could you allow this to happen? Had nothing to do with Michelle or Queen Opp's sister caring about the well being of Michelle at all. At all. She has this attitude like she can't be touched and is putting all the and putting all the blame on Danny. So glad I finally caught her alive. Hi. Opp and Danny are just as guilty. Danny's not as simple as she wants to prove. I don't know why she's trying to prove loyalty to Queen Opp, because Hunty, hey, Queen Opp ain't gonna be proving nothing to her, sweetie. It ain't going down like that, sweetie. And if you think so, I don't know what to tell you. She has been doing this to Shelly for years. It shows the court. This is yep. But you know what though? Even though the courts do know that there's a pattern, excuse me, of behavior. I'm getting tired. Uh, it doesn't matter because people do awful things, terrible things every day and get off. So that's why I'm saying don't hold your breath. We don't know what the outcome's going to be. I was a little surprised when I heard allegedly Danny's looking at majority of the sentencing time. That could be somebody planting a seed. That's why I said I have to do my own due diligence. But it could go that way. Danny does majority of the sentencing. Queen Opp gets a plea deal because she has a paid lawyer and walks. If that happens, then justice has not been served for Michelle. But like I said, we're just gonna have to sit back and watch. It's sad when somebody who tries to act like they're a G, Queen Opp act like she's some G, so thorough. I don't understand how she can't get on the live and explain what's going on as far as her freedom. How much damage did she do to her freedom from behind what she did to Michelle? Why can't you be a woman enough to even tell us that? That's why I said you could only imagine what's being probably handled behind closed doors to at least anyways get Queen Opp off. She's the only one that got a paid lawyer. I hope with this time apart, Shell will not go back. I hope not either. But remember, guys, that was the purpose of Michelle's sister telling us how it has happened before, and they rescued her. And then when the smoke cleared, she went right back to Queen Opp. Now this is probably the longest she's been away from Queen Opp, but that could be even worse. She might be missing her badly because that's the longest she's been away from her, and already relapsed in her mind. Once this case is over, that's where I'm gonna be, because maybe Danny will be in jail, or hopefully Danny will be in jail, and then I can be back with Queen Opp. I really believe Queen Opp would have her back there. And it's sad to say that, but that's just the harsh reality of it. So only time will tell. Only time will tell, honey. But Yeah, that's why Queen Opp, you haven't heard from her. She hasn't been getting up there, acting like the number one stunner. I know I wouldn't if I was looking at that type of time over my head. I know I wouldn't, but we don't know. Don't be surprised if after Shirley. Yeah, that's true. But like I said, I heard that like we all knew anyways, if there's any truth to it, that Michelle did speak on what happened to her, but she she told it all when it came to Danny and some. So Michelle might be not even focused on, doing something to Queen Op. She might be focused on just Danny, is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you get your hopes up too high, you get disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So only time will tell. But listen, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm getting a little tired. I'm hoping I don't go to sleep. Um, Listen, if y'all want to send me something for my birthday, send it to PayPal. And you got to email sldavis at gmail.com. My Cash App is down. Don't send me no, what is it called, super chat. Because if you do, I won't get it to next month. And I don't know, it's what, 7:54? About maybe 9, I might run and get me a nice little bottle of Patron. But yeah, if you want to send me a nice little gift for, my B-Day, send it to the PayPal, sldavis, at gmail.com. But I will definitely be back on here tomorrow. I got a whole bunch of stuff I need to put out. Backlogged, okay? But today is my birthday. I'm gonna try to do something for me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of late in the day, me starting my B day, but I had things I had to do. Y'all stay blessed. I love y'all, and I'm out. Mwah. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out. Talk with y'all tomorrow.